Okay, here's going to be your first Photoshop assignment. It's going to be fairly simple, straightforward, just some basic, I can create this and I can follow directions. So, first step we're going to do is we're going to create a new document. We want to make this document a particular size, so we are going to make it 8 by 8 inches. Resolution should be 300. All the rest should be fine. RGB color, 8-bit. Make sure to keep it 8-bit. Don't go at 16. You won't be able to do certain filters with 16. Color profile doesn't matter, and square pixels are what we want. So, after that, I'm just going to push create, and now I have my square. So, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to fill in a background here. So I'm going to create a new layer. To do that, I'm going to label it background. Go here to my fill tool. Sometimes it's on the gradient tool. So I'm going to go to my paint bucket tool. I'm going to go up to my colors and I'm going to pick a color. I can also choose my foreground color here. Let's go with a nice red color. Fill that. There we go. Now let's put some text. Shortcut for that is just T. Now I'm going to. Sometimes you want to click with your text tool, and then you can just type, and it'll go as far as you want. I want it to be constrained to a certain area, so I'm going to click and drag. And I'm going to type the word go. Now I could do all my formatting now, but I'm going to put some more text down here because I'm going to put a image in the middle. So I'm going to just duplicate this layer, go with Command J. It's a copy there. I'm going to go and push V for my move tool to get me off that text tool so I can move my other go down so I can see. I'm also going to put it over here to the left because, as you can see, if I push Command T or if I just hover, you can. I'm holding down Command and hovering over this. You can see where the bounding box is. So when I format this, it's going to format to the bounding box. So now that I have that, I'm going to push T and go over here and click in this area so that I can, now that I'm on my text tool, that's why I push T. Now I'm going to type Coyotes. Now, if you type and it happens to cut off, here you can't see it. That just means your text is too big. That's fine. I'm going to click over here in a dead area so that it sets that. So I have my two text, and now I'm going to click on one, hold down Command, and make sure I click in this dead area, not over text or the T here. I'm going to click this so it selects both of them. Now I need to bring up my characters. So I'm going to go up to Windows and go to Character. That's going to bring up my editing for my character. I'm going to change the size of this and the format, how it's set within these bounding boxes. So I have it already set to all caps, which I like. I don't like the color of the text though. I'm going to go with like a gray color here, darker gray. Maybe a little bit darker than that. There we go. Now let's. If you see over here, we don't have. We have options as well. I can center this if I go to the paragraph tab. Just click on center and it'll center both of these right here. Now I'm going to move this go down a little bit so I can see it, but I'm going to wait until I'm done formatting. You can mess with the tracking, whether you want it to be bigger or shorter or wider in between the characters. If I do that, you see my coyote gets cut off. I'll go back and fix that in a second. I like the way that looks. I'm going to change my my font to whatever looks good. I can also just click in this box and have a highlight and then use my arrow key to go through different fonts. Let's pick something, yeah, kind of like that. All right, let's go with Arial. Now I need to do some formatting to my Go and to my Coyotes. So I'm going to push the V, go back to my Coyotes, and I'm gonna lower my my font just on my Coyotes. Now I can hover over. If I click right here, I can drag left and right, or I can use this one to pick. That's up to you. I tend to drag more. I highlighted both of them. Let's undo that. Click just on Coyotes, and now we can just make the Coyotes fit. There we go. All right, now let's click on Go. I'm going to click V for the Move tool. Once I've got that set, I have this. I'm pushing the V tool and it's not working. I didn't understand why. The reason why is because I have this field right here active. So I'm going to click out of that, push V, and now I can move my Go. Now I know it's centered. It's good. I'm going to go back to that characters tab, and I'm just going to minimize it so I know that it's still up here. Let's format this text one more time. I'm going to go to my Coyotes or my Go. It doesn't matter. I'm going to drag my Go above my Coyotes because that's the order they're in. And I'm going to click on my effects, and I want to just go to my blending options. Now that's going to bring up everything. Now I'm going to do a bevel and emboss, and I'm going to do a stroke. Now when I do the bevel and emboss, you have to click on this. Just because I check it doesn't mean that that is the one that I'm actively on. Right now I'm on bevel and emboss, but I clicked on inner shadow. So I'm going to uncheck that inner shadow, get my settings for my bevel and emboss. I'm going to turn my stroke off for now so I can see what the bevel and emboss is doing. But I'm going to add a little bit more depth to that, kind of makes it pop a little bit more off of whatever it's on. The size will make it kind of do the same thing. If I bring this out, you can see the depth. If I mess with this, it kind of brings it back in, so they kind of work together. I want that a little less hazy. There we go. Now let's go back to my stroke. I don't want white on this. I'm going to change the color here to black. You see that shadow really brings that out. If I take that and I take the opacity and bring it back down, it won't be so thick. There we go. Something like that. All right. Let's push OK. Now I got to go to my, that's the, sorry, I changed these colors right here. I'm going to change this back to white. I was still on my bevel and emboss. Now let's go to my stroke. So this isn't white. Change my color to black. Not red, black. Now we want this to go outside. There we go. Okay. That stroke really isn't showing up. Yeah, let's go with like a lighter grayish white there. There we go. All right. Now, I want to apply the same effects that I did to the Go to the Coyotes. So I'm just going to hold down my Option key, and I'm going to, while I hold down the Option key, I'm going to click and drag this two coyotes. So I click and drag this down, and it duplicates it, and they look identical. Perfect. All right. So I'm going to make a group out of my text just so that it is easier to organize. I highlighted both of them. I'm going to click on my group folder here, create a group. I'm going to name that text. Bam. Let's name this background red fill. Okay, now I'm going to bring in my image that I want to put in the middle here. I'm going to go up here to File, and I'm going to go with Open. Now, when that happens, I'm going to go to my downloads where I had downloaded my Coyote head. So this is the one I want, Coyote Head XL. I'm going to push Open, and it's going to open it as a new layer. Now I'm going to drag this up here to this tab, pause for a second, bring it back down to the middle, and I'm going to let go. And you can see that it's bigger than I want. Also, you can see that my reds are not quite the same. That's okay. So let's resize this. Make sure that your Coyote head layer is active. I'm going to push Command T, and depending on the year that you're using, if you're using a newer version, then you don't have to hold down Shift. But if you're using an older version, you may have to hold down Shift when you pull from the corner to keep the ratio. Now I like that it goes behind this. It looks kind of cool. So I'm still going to bring this up a little bit so that it's halfway through both letters. There we go. Hit return, or you can hit the check mark up here. Now I want these reds. I don't really like the way this looks, so I'm going to change this red fill. I'm going to click here on my fill. Now I can match the reds by clicking on changing my color for my fill, and then I'm just going to click on the Coyote head here, and it gets the correct red, so that when I fill, make sure I'm on my red fill here, I fill, they're the same color. Now I don't know if I necessarily like the way that looks. I'm going to turn it off and see what it looks like with a white background. Not bad. I can also go with a gray background. It's okay. I could change my text color if I highlight both of these. Come on, there we go. Click on the color here, bring it to black. I kind of like that. And then there we go. So once I have all that done, I'm good. If you wanted to, on this layer, you could add some effects on your blending options. You don't have to. I'm going to show you that if you add a stroke, kind of make it pop a little bit. Also, the bevel and the emboss can make it pop a little, just like that Go was doing. That's up to you if you want to add that. But there you go. Now that I'm done, I'm going to go up and I'm going to save this. Just to make sure if I made any mistakes, I'm going to save it as a PDF first. Let's save this to my desktop, and we're going to make a new folder. Now where you organize your stuff is up to you. I really don't care. Now I am going to call this Go Coyotes, and I'm going to save it as a Photoshop file first. That's just in case I need to go back and edit anything, change anything. Now it's done saving. Now I'm going to save as, and I'm going to save this one now as a JPEG. When I save it as a JPEG and I click save, it's going to ask me the quality. Now this is important. I'm just going to go with a very low. Let's see, it says 10 megabytes. So let's go with 4. That's not too bad. 4 quality should be okay. Push OK. It'll save it in the same folder as the other one. And then I can go turn it in. So just make sure that you kind of follow along with that. If you like a red background or a black background, that's up to you. Color of your text and the stroke, that's up to you as well. But I would like to see this text with this logo turned in as a JPEG. All right, let me know if you have any questions.